The world of Smiling Friends is filled with some of the most interesting and unique characters that I've seen in a TV show in years. From retired PlayStation 2 mascots, to aggressive Yetis, and even, whatever Mr. Frog is.
I'm Mr. Frog. This is my show. I eat the bug.
I don't think he's actually a frog. And even if we step away from the wacky side characters and focus on our main group of the core Smiling Friends, they're all interesting in their own ways. Pim's an overly positive bundle of joy, Charlie's a real everyman's type of guy and brings some realism to the group, Alan's the more stuck-up sarcastic one, and Glip's just, Glip. And even though I love all the members of the Smiling Friends, ever since the very first episode, there's always been one character that stood out to me above the rest as the funniest and the best Smiling Friend. And that's none other than the boss of the Smiling Friends himself, Mr. Boss.
The job is for me, your favorite character, the boss.
From the very beginning, Mr. Boss has been one of the most interesting characters in the entire series, and every time he's on screen it never disappoints. And his character is one of the best because there's so much mystery around him. Is he good? Is he evil? Is he a demon? Or is he just an old man with a heart of gold? Well, today I want to take a look back through Mr. Boss's character throughout the course of 2 seasons, so that we can see just why I think he's the best Smiling Friend. So Mr. Boss made his first appearance in the very first episode of season 1, and right off the bat, he made an interesting impression. We see the rest of the Smiling Friends sitting around talking when a giant alarm goes off. And this alarm is so loud that it doesn't just scare the Smiling Friends, but it sends everyone in the neighborhood running. Which is kind of crazy because the whole point of the Smiling Friends is to make people happy. But you can genuinely see the terror on some of these people's faces, making people laugh and giving generational trauma. We then see Charlie and Pim in Mr. Boss's office, and good God, this man creeped me out the first time around. But I thought maybe he's just a weird looking old man, nothing really crazy going on, and he starts breastfeeding.
Ugh. Brother, ugh. What's that?
I honestly just want to know what the conversations were looking like in the writer's room for this to be his gag for the episode. And I don't know what's crazier, the fact that he started breastfeeding or the fact that whatever he's breastfeeding looks like Charlie. Not saying Mr. B is Charlie's dad or anything, but the allegations ain't looking too good. But throughout the whole interaction, even though he was doing pretty crazy things from the alarm to whipping out his peck, Mr. Boss kept a calm demeanor throughout the entire time. And throughout 2 seasons, we would see that this would be a staple of his character, calmness mixed with chaos. And if you're a sane person like I think I am, to you, Mr. Boss might come off a little, how I say, bad insane. Because throughout the next couple episodes, he would have a couple creepy, crazy, deranged moments, but nothing was really that bad. Oh, wait, no, I'm lying. He ate a demon. Yeah, he literally ate a demon. And even though that was kind of crazy, it was really episode 7 of season 1 titled Frowning Friends that kind of confirmed Mr. Boss might actually be insane. In the episode, a rival company called the Frowning Friends moves in across the street to try to steal the Smiling Friends business. And when Pim and Charlie go to tell Mr. Boss, he doesn't do the best job to try to hide the fact that he isn't happy.
Should we be worried?
No, don't fret, young Pim. It's just a little bit of friendly competition.
You can't tell me this isn't a face you would see haunting your nightmares. And just off that one interaction alone, you might think, well, he's probably just frustrated about upcoming competition. No, he genuinely starts losing his mind. Because the next time we see Mr. Boss, he's in a meeting with 3 advisors and he tells them that he's down $2.4 billion. Which, side note, how is that even possible? The Frowning Friends literally moved in across the street that morning. It's been like, what, 4 hours? How do you lose $2.4 billion in 4 hours? But regardless, Mr. Boss doesn't like any of the advice that the advisors give him, and he ends up lashing out, telling them to get out, and throws a lamp at them. But it's at that moment we find out that Mr. Boss was talking to himself the entire time. Alan comes in to check on him, and we see that the room is completely empty, with the only thing being the lamp shattered on the floor. And I guess Mr. Boss acting like this must be normalized for the rest of the Smiling Friends because Alan is completely unfazed. Bro just walks off. Mr. Boss then goes upstairs and analyzes the Frowning Friend building, talking to himself about how good of an idea the Frowning Friends was and how he should have came up with it. Which, game recognized game. But we then see an evil version of Mr. Boss in the mirror yelling at himself, telling him he knows what he needs to do. While at the same time, the real Mr. Boss is pleading with himself, saying that he can't do it and that it isn't right. Eventually though, he does budge as he plans to take out the Frowning Friends. And keep in mind, throughout this entire video, I gave countless examples of Mr. Boss being borderline insane and doing crazy things. But the most interesting thing that happened this episode is what he does when he actually confronts the frowning friends. Because when he gets ready to take out one of the frowning friends and he sees that the frowning friend starts to pee his pants, Mr. Boss gives him a pep talk.
Hey, don't cry. You should be happy that your idea was so good that it drove me bonkers with jealousy. That's kind of cool, huh?
And like a true smiling friend, Mr. Boss is able to change the mood and make the frowning friend smile. If only this episode had a happy ending, this might have been a sweet moment. But this was the episode that personally made me believe that Mr. Boss is by far one of the best characters in the entire show, but also the best smiling friend. Because don't get me wrong, all the other smiling friends are great. Well, maybe not Gleb, but the other ones, top notch. Pim is overly positive and kinda embodies the type of person that you would want working at a charity like the Smiling Friends. Having his unrealistic optimism mixed in with real life situations really leads to a lot of funny moments. Him getting depressed at the idea that everything you do in life is probably meaningless at the end of episode 1 was by far one of the funniest moments in the entire series. Charlie's humor is top tier, and in a lot of moments in the show he comes off really relatable. Where Pim can be very gun-ho and energy level at 100, Charlie's more reserved, and as a result a lot of his jokes come off the same way. The episode with him and Shrimp is by far one of his funniest episodes, and the whole "you look like you're gonna tell your friend not to come to school tomorrow" bit was hilarious. Alan has a really dry sense of humor to where he's not really trying to be funny a lot of times or make you laugh, but at the same time he's consistently one of the funniest characters in the entire show. He's never really cracking jokes, rather he is the joke a lot of times, and not in a bad way. His voice, his mannerisms, the way he delivers certain words and phrases, it all makes him hilarious. All this on top of the many different gags he's a part of makes him one of the funniest smiling friends in my opinion. I mean, come on, you can't tell me you weren't laughing when he was hanging on the cross yelling, "I just want my cheese." And Glip is, well, he's Glip. And like I said before, on their own, all these characters are amazing. They're all hilarious and they all bring something to the table in their own way. But the thing is, everything that they bring individually, throughout the series we see that Mr. Boss has it all. He can be an overly positive, energetic person like Pim. He can be more down to earth and calm like Charlie. He can be like Alan, where he's not even trying to be funny yet is one of the funniest people on the screen. And just like Gleb is Gleb, the boss is the boss. All the traits that make the Smiling Friends as a group so great, Mr. Boss embodies time after time again. But on top of that, he's also a great boss. And I know what you're thinking, how could this psychopathic, murderous, insane character be a great boss to work under? Well, believe it or not, it's actually true. Mr. Boss has a great relationship with all the Smiling Friends, throwing Christmas and Thanksgiving parties for them, encouraging them to go out and help people that they're interested in. I mean, let's be for real, Charlie literally died and Mr. Boss was speaking at his funeral. I don't know about any of y'all, but there ain't a boss I ever had that I would let speak at my funeral. If that doesn't prove how close he is to the Smiling Friends, I don't know what does. The Smiling Friends all also attended Mr. Boss's wedding, and when they found out that Mr. Boss's demon wife, yeah, you heard me right, demon wife, you can't even make this up at this point. When they found out his demon wife was trying to steal his soul, they all risked their lives to save him. And Mr. Boss even sung them all a little song about how much he appreciates them. And when you get deeper into the series, you just see how much they appreciate Mr. Boss and how cool they think he actually is. And you know, who could really blame them? The boss is a cool guy and a really funny guy. He in fact should do stand-up. And I really think that's the beauty of the boss's character, because yes, he is in fact insane. I stand 100% on that belief. He literally tried to murder 2 people because they were taking business from him. I understand Smiling Friends is your thing, man, but it never gets that serious. But regardless, even with the boss's more crazy and wild moments, it never stops him from being a good boss. It never stops him from caring for the rest of the Smiling Friends. And just like we see at the end of the actual Frowning Friends episode, Mr. Boss being a little bit cuckoo never stops him from being who he is truly at his core. And that's a true Smiling Friend, who even though 5 seconds before was going to off the Frowning Friends, saw in the moment that he was sad and couldn't help the urge but to try to make him smile. And I think it's the moments like this that really make Mr. Boss a beloved and fan favorite character. Because for what bad qualities he might have, his positive ones outshine him heavily. That mixed in with him being a great boss and a hilarious character, on top of that a top-notch gamer, is why I think Mr. Boss is the best Smiling Friend. But let me know in the comments below if you think Mr. Boss is the best Smiling Friend, or is it someone else? I know personally for me, if it wasn't Mr. Boss, it would have to be Alan, so I might have to make an Alan video pretty soon. Also, let me know in the comments, what's your favorite episode of Smiling Friends? For me, it'd have to be between the Mr. Frog episode or the Enchanted Forest episode. And I know season 2 just ended, but bro, I can't wait for season 3 of Smiling Friends because 8 episodes, bro, 8 episodes is so crazy. I need Adult Swim to at least pop out with 20 per episode. But if you made it to the end of the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that noti bell to be notified when I upload my next video. And until then, it's been your boy CornXV, and I'm off this.
Up in this tank, yeah, it's up. Turn on buzz master like coke. Pull up in Rovers, it's up. Bitch, I'm cheese sauce, so this coke. Llama, it can't want no hoes. Bottle, it can't let me pour. High as fun, just like a float. Wanna glow up, let me show you. V long,